Okay, hi there. So for today, we're going to do a small review of what we did on Monday. I noticed a couple of holes just when we were doing this stuff in class with my students that were in class. So if there's some holes for my in-class kids, obviously for my online students, maybe there are some holes as well. You guys are slightly less connected to me. So hopefully we can kind of iron out those ideas and then move forward. Um, I will go over a couple of different questions from that worksheet. I do want to keep some of those ideas open just because I still want you to submit that work to me. I will count whatever it is you did on Monday's lesson as a bonus. Okay, so each of those questions are going to be worth a point that you can add towards your assignment for today. So I will go over a couple of different things, but I'm not going to go over everything just to kind of make sure that you guys do have some space to earn some extra points. Okay. Um, so the Dropbox for Monday's assignment is going to close at 12:36. So I am going to kind of give you again a little bit of time um, in between the lesson that I want you to do for today and the assignment that I want you to do for based off of today's lesson. Okay. All right. So here is a brief review. If you didn't watch my videos from before, this is very important. The simple interest formula that we learned is going to be interest equals the principal, so that's whatever you initially invest, times uh, the interest rate times the time. Okay, so that first I is going to be the amount of interest that you get. So this is going to be in dollars, but that R is going to be the rate of interest. That A is going to be that total amount, and that is the principal plus the interest rate, okay? So the compound interest is a little bit more complicated than the simple interest. What you are going to use for those formulas is the total amount is equal to the principal times 1 plus the interest rate. And we'll get into that little interest symbol because it is a little bit different than what you were doing up at that simple interest rate to the power of n. So that's the number of years times the compounding interest rate. And for that second formula, you are using that in order to find how much was initially invested, okay? So that first formula in the compound interest is you're finding out what the principal plus the interest rate is. That's that first formula. In the second one, that's if you have the total amount and you're trying to figure out how much you invested initially. Okay, so some of you guys were having problems with these charts, so I'm just going to go into it briefly so that you have some idea about how to do this. Okay, I'm not going to do all of them, but I'll do the first couple. Okay, so this should just be a pretty simple formula. This is based off of this first. We'll put the simple interest rate in yellow, and we'll do those compound interest rates in orange, just so you guys have a good visual here. Okay, so this is going to be orange, but we know that this is based off of that simple interest rate in those charts. All right, so when we're solving this, you're going to kind of put your formula in there. So our interest equals the principal times the rate times the time. We do remember that there's a couple of things that you have to do for that interest rate. So you're going to divide by 100 here, and then you're going to get 0.045. And then for the time, you do have to make sure that you're always operating in years, okay? So if this is months, you're going to divide by 12 in order to get how many years it is, okay? So that 3 divided by 12 is going to give you 0.25. And then you're going to just times this all out, right? So the interest equals 2,000 times 0.045 times 0.25, and you should get I equals 22.5. Okay, so this should be pretty simple. And then for the total amount, that's that A equals P plus I. And then we are going to just put those two together, right? So 2,000 plus 22.5, A equals $2,022.50. Okay, so we got that going. For the next problem, it's almost the exact same thing. Okay, the only thing that you might trip up is that this is that 0.5. So this number is going to be really tiny at that 0.005. And then if you're going to do the exact same thing, this is also in months, so you got to divide this by 12, okay? I'm going to leave these two open just in case you want to go back in and fill in your chart based off of this new information. I am going to do a couple of those problems that we did at the bottom of the chart. I told my in-class workers not to worry about it. This is kind of based off of the stuff that we did this morning in terms of knowing how to manipulate these equations like this. Okay, so this is the skill that you need in order to figure out how to do the second part of these charts. So if you did that thing in the morning and you're like, Miss R, I have no idea how to get this proper answer, just let me know and I can give you some more problems like this. I can give you some more problems like this so that I know you're going to be successful when you move down here. And if you're not there yet, that's okay. That's okay, all right? We're only on day 2 of math, so if it's been a little while, we can get you moved up to a good place. It might just be to your advantage to meet me on Teams, okay? All right, so in order to figure out one of those later charted questions, I'm going to just fill in so we know that we have $1,500 as the principal. We know our interest rate is going to be 1.5. We do not know the time. Okay, we're trying to solve for time, and we know our interest rate is going to be $320. Okay, so in order to solve this equation, you have to kind of rearrange some of your ideas in order to get the correct answer, okay? So here we know our interest rate, we know our principal, which is at $1,500. We know our rate, we're going to divide this by 100, so we know that this is going to be that 0.015. So we're going to put that right here, 0.015. We do not know our time. Okay, so we're going to put that little t there, and then we're going to just work on solving this equation. And then that 1,500 times that 0.015 is going to get you 22.5 t. And then depending on kind of the way that you want to solve this, you're going to put this over 1. If you like the box method, right, you're going to divide this way. So that 320, right, that 320 divided by 22.5 is going to give you 1422. Okay, right? So we divide this way, we go down this way. So we know t equals 1422. All right, and then that's just what you would put over here. This is already going to be in years. You don't have to worry about doing any sort of further calculations with this. Just that 14.22 years is all you need right over there. And then the same thing, we don't have to really do anything too special for this. You're just going to do the 1,500 plus $320. A equals 18, excuse me, 20, 1820. Okay. I don't want to do any more just in case you want to go down, but if anybody has any questions, just let me know. You can either put them in the chat or you can write them on the Jamboard, but I'm going to kind of move to those next questions, okay? So the second rate is going to be this orange. This is going to be that compounding. This is based off of this compounding, these compounding ideas right over here, okay? For this, I'm gonna just do the equation. I know it's gonna be a little bit small, but right into this amount section right over here, okay? So we remember there's a couple of things that we have to do in order to manipulate these ideas. And the way that we're going to do that is by making sure that everything is in the proper form, okay? So everything is in the proper form. So for this, we know this is 2.3. You're going to do that divide by 100, and we're going to get this equals 0.023, okay? And then for this, you're going to divide by 12 in order to get this in the proper form, okay? You're going to get that in that proper form, and this is going to be 1.5. Okay, now we do have to do some manipulation of this. Hopefully you guys remember, but because this says this is semi-annually, we have to times it by 2, okay? Or excuse me, for the interest rate, you have to divide by 2, right? And then for that time invested, you're going to multiply it by 2. So something that I do want you to keep in mind is that um, I want you to be using this Desmos scientific calculator for when you do these. It's going to make your life 1,000,000% easier, okay? I know you can do this on your phone, but it gets complicated in terms of you putting it in the calculator with your brackets, and you're going to run into problems later on, okay? So you want to use this Desmos scientific calculator when you're doing this in order to make sure that you are doing things correctly, okay? So we know that this formula is going to be A equals P times 1 plus I to the nth power. And we have luckily kind of already figured out exactly what these are going to look like, but I'm going to put it in this calculator right over here so you can see. So we have 300 times 1 plus, I want you to just keep this in this form, okay? It's going to make it easy for you. That 0.023, right? Divided by 2 for that semi-annually. And the nice thing about Desmos is that it already anticipates what brackets you want. Okay, so you can see it already anticipates that you need these brackets here. And then we're going to raise. So this is that first bracket, this is that second bracket, and we are raising this right up here to that nth power. We know 1.5 times 2 is going to be 3, but if you didn't know, you can put that in brackets as well, okay? This is already going to be raised to that power. And so we have our answer over here. Our answer is going to be that 310, uh, $310.47, okay? So that's gonna be our total. We have it in that calculator right over there. And then our interest is just going to minus this principal from what our total is, okay? So our interest earned is going to be, um, so interest is going to be 310.47 minus $300 equals $10.47. Okay, so that's really nice. We're going to go into the next one, and then I can just kind of show you how nice it is to just like very easily manipulate in Desmos, right? So we know for the second one, it's going to be that $1,200 at 1.25% for 2 years, and this is compounded weekly. Okay, so when we go into here, we're just going to, you can either do this and copy and paste this if you like to have all of your work. Um, if you like to see it, I like to see it. I like to look at it all together so I can look at the differences. But if you are not that kind of person, that's also okay. All right, so we know we have the 1200, that's our principal. This 1.25, we know we're going to divide by 100. So that's going to equal 0.0125. So that's going to go right over here. 125, right? We know that this is compounded weekly, so that weekly is going to be that 52. All right, there's 52 weeks in a year, and that's why that's weekly. Okay, for this, you might have to put this in your brackets. Okay, you might want to put this in your brackets, but we know that this is 2 years times that 52. Okay, so 2 times 52. Oh, something went funky there. Why is that not working? Oh, it's saying that's an X. There we go. Okay, so we know for this, we have everything written out. This is the way that it's going to look. This is the way that you want to have it entered into your calculator. And this is why I'm saying it's going to be a problem for you just using that phone. You will find it's going to be so much easier just for you to use Desmos. Eventually, if you're an in-class person, you got to get that regular calculator, but Desmos is fine for right now. Okay, so we have A equals $1,230.37. And then you would just do your subtraction here. So you would say minus 1,200 equals 3037. Okay, so hopefully this is easy. Hopefully this looks good for you, okay? The last question I'm going to do is question number 6. This is what it's going to look like for you in order to do one of those compound interest questions in a word problem or a word format. Okay, I had a couple of questions about this, so I'm just going to kind of go over it with you all, and then hopefully that will help you out. Okay, so again, we are doing this compound interest. We're going to put this in orange. And we know that it's going to be a compound interest because we have that compounded monthly right up there, okay? Um, for this, I want you to draw your keys. I want you to draw your legends because it's going to give you points on your assignments and on your work moving forward if you're drawing that legend for me. Okay, so we know our formula is going to be A equals P times 1 plus I raised to the nth power. Okay, so what is the amount of an investment if $750 is invested at 2.45% interest, compounded monthly for 3 years? Okay, so our principal is going to be that $750. We know our I is going to be that 2.45%, and we know we have to divide by 100, and that's going to give us 0.0245. We know that our N is going to be 3 years, and then this is going to be compounded monthly. So we're going to divide by 12. And for this, we're going to multiply by 12. Okay, so then when we put this into our formula, we have A equals 750 times 1 plus 0.0245 over 12 raised to, if you know what 12 times 3 is, you can put that right into your calculator as 36. But if you don't, you can write 12 by 12 times 3 here in order to kind of just put that in your calculator, okay? So either one will work. And then we're just going to, I'm going to take this. Oh no. We need a new question. We're going to do this, and then we're going to just manipulate this so that we have the proper formula already in there. 0.0245. This is going to be 12 weeks. And this is going to be raised to 12 times 3, if you don't know, is 36. Okay. So our A is going to be $807.14. Okay. So that's how you do question number 6. The rest of them on that worksheet are going to be variations of that. Okay. If you have questions, you can either write them in the chat or write them in the Jamboard. I will take a look at that Jamboard and I will take a look at the chat. It's really whatever place you want to post in. I did say for those of you, if you don't recall from the beginning of class, I can take a look back at those Jamboard posts, and if I see you're frequently kind of engaging, I see you're putting stuff in there, we can take a look back and see kind of what you're doing. The nice thing about the Jamboards is that it's really easy for you to take a picture with your phone and just post it in there. But that is kind of it for that review lesson. The next thing that we do is going to be an official lesson, okay?